Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro, and creator of the popular program, How to Expand Your Reach, Impact More Lives, and Get Your Message Out to a wider audience. And I am fired up here today because today we are going to tackle one of my favorite conversations, which is the enrollment discussion. Now, I know you have all been there. I know I certainly have myself, where you're talking to somebody and you're having a really good conversation. You know, they're taking notes and you're making a lot of sense, and then they're taking some more notes and they're nodding, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. This person's going to sign up. And you're talking, everything is smooth and easy, nice and breezy. And then the money part comes up, right? And you can almost feel the conversation like, and you can start seeing how, you're feeling a little awkward. You can tell how they're feeling a little bit awkward because you're feeling awkward. Now you're starting to feel a little bit nervous. And what was once a vibrant, totally fine conversation and a good back and forth has now kind of slowed down a little bit. And the question is, what can you do to be able to get around that? All right. And I have got two words that you're going to want to keep in mind when it comes to the enrollment conversation and actually getting better in that. And that is framework and structure. All right. So let me unpack each one. Framework and structure. All right. We'll start with the second first, since that's the easiest one. People, when they're talking to you, they want to be able to have a degree of structure. So like when I talk to people, I'll usually say in terms of, hey, listen, this is going to be 7 sessions, private sessions, hour each. Here's what we're going to cover, right? You see that? Structure. Yours might be 10 sessions, 2 hours each. Yours might be a small group. You might say, I actually do some masterminds where I say, listen, we have a small group mastermind. We meet every other week. It's an hour each. Mine are actually 45 minutes, but an hour each. And we're going to do this, this, and this. People want some structure. One of the biggest challenges that people have in the coaching and consulting world is what we do is we know so much, but we don't do a great job of articulating it and really packaging it in a way that makes it easy to understand. So structure, how do you do that? Number of sessions, how long each session is going to be, private or small group. You're like, well, they should be already know that. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. But you start off by saying, well, listen, here's how our program works. 7 sessions, hour each, private sessions. And during that time, we will cover, which brings us to the framework. People want to know that there is going to be a game plan behind it. I was talking with a client of mine down in Florida, and I told her that I actually didn't used to have a framework, when I would talk to people. And she's like, what I used to do, and I still do this to a certain extent, but I'm more intentional. What I used to do is I would just create a hit list, and you could totally do this. I would just create a hit list, and that would be the framework. And you could totally do that. I have no problem with that. She says, well, you know what, Brian, though? You did have a framework. That hit list that you didn't think was a big deal, that gave me an idea as to what it is that we were going to cover, the framework of our discussion. So you have two choices when it comes to framework. You can do what I did, which is, all right, listen, tell me what it is you want to do. So like one of my clients, we're working on how for her to be just more successful in general. And what I did was I put down, all right, this is what we do. This is part of our mastermind of success, okay? Unlocking the mindset of success. And I said, all right, listen, here's what it is that we want to be able to do. Here's what it is that you're going to be able to accomplish. And the question was, what is it that's going to make, her name's not Sally, it's actually Erica. What is it that's going to make Erica more successful? There's 4 things. And that becomes the framework for our conversation. And I told her, listen, during the enrollment conversation, I was like, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this and this and this. And she's like, great. That's door number 1. That's the easiest way. Door number 2, which is also fine, is if you find yourself talking to the same type of people. So like for me, if I'm talking to coaches and they're all about building an audience and trying to get out to a wider audience and, turning that, impacting more lives and doing all that, expanding their reach. Okay, well, I have another framework for that. That's actually based off of 4 pillars. So the first thing that we'll do is we talk about being able to create a clear, consistent marketing message. Then we talk about the enrollment conversation. Then we talk about becoming a trusted authority and what you can do to kind of affect that, right? And then we talk about how you can get once you become a trusted authority, how to actually monetize that in terms of both online and offline. Those are 4 pillars. Okay, so you see how it's like, okay, if I were to come to you, I'd be like, well, we've got our program on how to expand your reach, impact more lives, and get your message out to a wider audience. It is 7 sessions. It's a combination of private sessions as well as we do some self-study video course work as well. It's broken down into 4 main sections or pillars, as I like to talk to them. We first talk about creating a crystal clear marketing message. We then get into the enrollment conversation. We then get into what you need to be able to do from a programs, packaging, and pricing perspective. I actually forgot that when I was just mentioning it to you. And then we get into, becoming a trusted authority and how to leverage that into clients both online and offline. I misspoke earlier. I forgot about the programs, packaging, and pricing. But you get the idea. Those are the 4 things, right? And now you're ready to go. And people are like, oh, yeah. And you'll actually see them. They'll go like this. They'll be like, interesting. Okay, I can see how that works. So when you're talking about the enrollment conversation, talk about structure, talk about framework, make sure people understand what it is you're doing, how it is you're coming across. They will be able to see themselves working with you better versus this torrent of just like good information. They'll be able to see themselves working with you better, and that will help them. That will help you be more successful in helping them move themselves forward. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully it's something that you can see yourself doing. As always, feel free to like, share, or comment below. I love those comments. I personally handle all comments, so if you have anything that you want to say or talk about, or even just want to drop me a line, I would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thanks so much for your time.